Hey, what's going on, CoinUp TV subscribers? Robert Welcome here, and in this video, I want to do a review of another Shaw Brothers wuxia martial arts classic. This time it's called The Sentimental Swordsman from 1977, directed by Chor Yuen, if I'm saying that correctly. I'm going to give you my letter grade and do some mild spoilers in this video. If you're brand new to my channel, please like this video and subscribe. So let's start off first with the synopsis from IMDb. The Sentimental Swordsman is about a lone, virtuous, heroic swordsman with a twist. The epidous, complex swordsman played by the popular Ti Lung is a hero with weaknesses. He drinks, thereby losing his girlfriend via tricked honor. It's finally payback time. This whoever compiled this little IMDb synopsis, I give their synopsis a not so great review. It doesn't really talk about what happens in the movie. It does mention Ti Lung and uses some big words. I sort of dug a little deeper. I was like, all right, let me go on Wikipedia and find out some more. So from Wikipedia, this film is based on a Duquan Jiang Wuquin Jian of Gu Long's Xia Li Fiada series of novels. Probably not pronouncing any of that correctly. Check this out on Wikipedia if you want to get the correct spelling and pronunciation. It was one of Shaw Brothers' highest grossing films of the studio's history, and was followed by the sequel Return of the Sentimental Swordsman, which I actually watched as well, and I'll put a review for that video up as well. So the sequel was in 1981, and then there was an in-name only sequel called Perils of the Sentimental Swordsman, released in 1982, which I have not seen, but I watched the trailer and I thought, the trailer actually looks kind of cool. Now I'm kind of curious to see that. So if you've seen Perils of the Sentimental Swordsman, let me know in the comments below. Who's in this? We got a lot of people. Ti Lung as Li Xunhuan, Derek Yi as Ah Fei, Ching Li is in this, Yueh Hua, Ku Feng. It's kind of like an all-star cast. There's a lot of people. I didn't write down everybody who's in this, but every few minutes it seems like somebody new is popping up and being introduced to the story, and you're like, oh hey, I kind of recognize that guy from something. Wasn't he the villain in another movie, the hero in another movie, or some other franchise? So they definitely packed an all-star caliber people into this, cast into this here. Starts off with a mysterious package, the MacGuffin, in which a handful of martial artists are all after and fighting one another. Inside the package is a gold armor vest of high value, so that kind of sets up things in the first 25-30 minutes of the story. And then, like a lot of these early Shaw Brothers movies, we get like a left turn and we go in kind of a completely different direction. That storyline evaporates, and then quickly we're introduced to kind of a new storyline about a bunch of new martial arts artists who are all gathered together to try and defeat the mysterious Plum Blossom Bandit, which is a villain that we don't really see. We kind of get some cameos along the way, but then really pops up sort of towards the end of the movie. And I was just like, okay, we got new characters, we got new things happening. We got Ti Lung, who's always a strong actor and martial artist and presence in this movie, and Derek Yi is actually got like some great scenes as well. Ti Lung is what happens is Ti Lung is actually framed for being the Plum Blossom Bandit. That's a little tough to say. I can't read off my notes here. And is escorted to the Shaolin Temple for trial. Meanwhile, Derek Li gets to show off some of his martial arts skills when he's ambushed by a couple of times by Ku Feng and his troops. It's all a bit unclear who's good, who's bad, who's the real villain, who's being manipulated, where the intrigue is going. I felt a little lost. I was thinking to myself, I was like, you know, I know Chor Yuen is like a renowned, like respected Shaw Brothers director and filmmaker, and I do appreciate his style and his cinematography and the way he shoots a lot of his movies, but I swear these adaptations, I'm just not understanding them at all. I just feel kind of lost. I feel like I need to read the source material or the book. I've said this in other videos as well, and I appreciate you know, some of the people commenting and like letting me know a little bit more about this. I did not read any of these books, these novels that these are based off of, and sometimes when I'm watching this, I'm just like, what is going on? Every 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, somebody new is just bursting onto the scene, popping up. Are we supposed to know the significance of this person? You know, let's say their name. There'll be like a zoom in or something, and I'm just like, okay, let's get on with things. So I kind of wrote in my notes. I had no idea who some of the people were, the motivations. It was a whirlwind of introductions from the characters and the plot elements at rapid pace. But on the pro side, hey, there are some fun fighting scenes. There's excellent art direction. The director has a very stylized way of bringing the camera very far back and putting some foreground elements in front of the camera. I was watching a few scenes and it literally looked like they're like, okay, we're going to put the camera way over there on the other side of the room or the building, and then we're going to put some like tree vines and some plants right in front of the camera lens. Like if I did that with my hand, imagine a tree plant and some vines and just seeing the action in the center of the screen. And I was like, okay, I'm for that. I understand that that's kind of cool and interesting, but sometimes it was just like overkill. It was like the plants and stuff were actually blocking the choreography and the fighting scene. So I thought that was kind of working a little bit against it. And a few times you can actually see like the things getting bumped, and you know, it was becoming like I was becoming aware of the foreground elements with when the set direction, the set design were actually falling apart a little bit. So let's see. Yeah, so that was something. Sorry, I went off a little bit of a tangent there, but it was a little bit overkill, a little bit distracting. Was this the most distracting? I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen all of Chor Yuen's movies, but I have seen a handful of them, and I have recognized that as kind of one of his styles. So another gripe or another curious thing I wrote down: why is this movie called The Sentimental Swordsman? T. Lung's weapon of choice is a fan that he uses most of the time folded up, collapsed, and blocks and hits people, and uses a lot of hand-to-hand combat. But it seems like his weapon of choice is throwing darts. I think he actually says his name is something dagger, red dagger, something like that. And I didn't write that down, but I was like, what's going on? Is it just that he's a swordsman, or he grew up as a swordsman, or is it about Derek Lee, who's a little bit more of a swordsman? That's the Sentimental Swordsman. So if you're familiar with the source material, you're familiar with this movie, please explain it to me, because I didn't get why it's the Sentimental Swordsman. And speaking of Derek Lee, I actually think that this might be one of the rare occasions where he actually may outshine T. Lung as a character in the movie. I thought he was a little more of the protagonist of the film, kind of moving the story forward, the plot forward at times. He had kind of some cool cameos popping up from time to time, and I felt like he was a little more active in this movie. So Derek Lee might be a little more of the star, even though I'm a big T. Lung fan. So letter grade, I'm going to give The Sentimental Swordsman from 1977 a D+. It's when this came out, it grossed a bunch of money. I can see why. It's a spectacle. It makes for a great trailer. But as somebody watching this in 2023 who did not read the source material, a lot of it sort of missed the mark. I did enjoy some of the martial arts and choreography, you know, especially the end fight scene. But D+, below average for me. Let me know what your comments are about this movie below, and make sure you come back and check out my review for the sequel, Return of the Sentimental Swordsman. Thanks so much for watching for CoinOp TV. We'll see you next time.